This is Valley News Live at 10.
It was an emotional homecoming for a group of travelers from Fargo and Grand Forks as they are now finally home from Israel after their trip was cut short after attacks from Hamas just 1 week ago.
The group was able to cross into Jordan just as the borders were closing. Matt Reiner caught up with some of the group as they landed at the Rochester International Airport.
Our Christmas present to our families being airmailed here in a few minutes.
Yes. A group from Fargo is happy to be home. Maureen Larrabee, Jolene Peterson, and Peggy Perbula are back in the United States after being in Israel for nearly 2 weeks. The group was accompanied by a fourth individual, all of whom were the last 4 of 84 Americans who were in Israel on a religious mission trip.
Made different trips throughout the region. We went to Nazareth and Bethlehem. We stayed 4 days in Nazareth, and then we moved to Bethlehem. We went and we were going to go to the Dead Sea and to the River Jordan.
Their journey was cut short due to the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. The church group was forced to cancel their remaining plans. Instead, they worked to evacuate and get home for their safety.
We took off from there to go to Jordan, and they said that we made it across the line with 1 hour to spare, and then the borders closed. They closed the borders. So we would still be there. Yeah.
After nearly a week of uncertainty, the group was finally able to make the long journey home, being reunited with their loved ones, who have been anxiously awaiting to see them safe once again.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic, and this really brings home the perception or the situation that family is so much more important than some of our other things in life.
In Rochester, I'm Matt Rainier.
In total, the tour group had 84 people all in total, all making it home on different flights at different times throughout the week. Father Phil Ackerman arrived home earlier this week.
This was what it looked outside of Holy Cross Catholic Church just this morning in West Fargo. It was a packed parking lot. So many people showed up to Father Phil's 11 a.m. service that they had to bring out extra chairs. When he started speaking, the entire room erupted in applause as everyone is thankful that they all returned safely.
Thick plumes of black smoke rose above Gaza City this morning ahead of an expected Israeli ground assault that could spread the war to other fronts. Israeli troops prepared for a ground assault on the Hamas-controlled Strip after an unprecedented assault on its territory just 8 days ago. Israel's military said it was preparing to expand its aerial attack with an integrated and coordinated attack from the air, sea, and land.
Israel has vowed to annihilate the militant group Hamas in retaliation for a rampage in which its fighters stormed through Israeli towns, shooting men, women, and children, and seizing hostages in the worst attack on civilians in the country's history. More than 2,300 people have been killed in Gaza and 9,000 are injured. In Israel, 1,400 have been killed and 3,500 are wounded. The number has now risen to 30 Americans who have been killed and 13 remain missing. That's according to the State Department.
On Friday, Governor Doug Burgum joined 19 other Republican governors in sending a letter to President Biden expressing their support for Israel and calling on the federal government to take action.
The letter said in part, quote, "We pledge our steadfast support to our ally Israel following the appalling attacks perpetrated against Israel's sovereignty and innocent civilians on October 7th, 2023. We write today to make clear that our states absolutely condemn these heinous acts of terrorism led by Iran-backed Hamas and proudly stand with Israel and the Jewish people."
The Prime Minister of Israel also now has invited President Biden to travel to Israel on a solidarity visit. That's according to a senior U.S. official. The White House is said to be considering the request.
Several Israeli media outlets, including the Times of Israel, reported earlier in the day that the invitation had been made. The president continues to pledge his, quote, unwavering support for Israel amid its war with Hamas, as well as his administration's efforts to combat anti-Semitism.
Switching gears, let's check in with First Alert Storm Team's Shelby Ebertowski for a look at our forecast. Shelby?
Well, Zoe and Reed, things are relatively quiet. We did have a breezier day today, but right now, taking a look up in Grand Forks, some quieter conditions. But today was a warm day for some of our peak temperatures, getting to 62 degrees here in Fargo, 61 in Grand Forks. Some areas stayed in those 50s, like Bemidji at 59, Langdon at 57. But for a regular air temperature currently, we're seeing a lot more 40s and 30s. After a warmer day, like I had said, we have areas like Langdon already in those 30s at 36 degrees for 40 in Roseau, 44 here in Fargo, 40 in Grand Forks, and 38 in Jamestown. And we're seeing a lot of these cooler temperatures because we have those clear skies, as those clouds normally act like a blanket, allowing for our air temperature to stay on the warmer side. And we're going to continue to have an increase of clouds later today, with an increase of those winds tomorrow and over the next couple days, after some calmer winds right now. But over the next couple hours, like I said, we're going to have those temperatures, Zoe and Reed, get down into those mid to low 30s. But I'll have that full forecast on and that warm up coming up here in just a few moments.
All right, thank you so much, Shelby. Governor Doug Burgum's presidential campaign team, Doug Burgum for America, announced just yesterday that its quarterly financial report for the period ended in September 30th.
Overall, the campaign reported more than $3.4 million in funding and entered the fourth quarter with over $2.2 million in cash on hand and available for the primary. Burgum's campaign spokesman Lance Trover said in just over 4 months, Doug Burgum has established himself as a national candidate, all while amassing 80,000 donations and qualifying for 2 national debates, while maintaining footholds in the states of Iowa and New Hampshire.
Trover also said, quote, as we enter the fourth quarter, additional time and attention will again be invested in the early states that will begin to determine the Republican nominee.
And just this morning, Concordia College officially installed Dr. Colin Irvine as the school's 12th president at an inauguration ceremony in Memorial Auditorium.
Faculty, staff, students, alumni, and distinguished guests joined together to show their support of Irvine, who is committed to institutional growth, program development, and initiatives promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. In his inaugural address, President Irvine focused on the power of momentum, taking lessons from the college's origins and advancing its mission to prepare students to influence the affairs of the world.
The inauguration capped off a week of homecoming festivities, which included a dedication ceremony to the Highmark Center for the Sanford Highmark School of Health Professions, an Alumni Achievement Awards banquet, student concerts, and a parade. President Irvine succeeds Dr. William Kraft, who retired in June of this year.
It was a big day for some North Dakota veterans. As early as this morning, they embarked on an honor flight to Washington to view national museums and memorials which were created in honor of their service. Today, those veterans arrived at the National Museum of the U.S. Army and will continue tours throughout the week. We will be sure to bring updates as to what these veterans are up to in the coming days.
Around 125 members of the North Dakota National Guard's 817th Engineer Company are deploying for a year-long mission to help the U.S. Customs and Border Protection at the southern border. The unit's deployment follows the deployments of the NDNG's 957 Engineer Company and 112 Aviation Battalion to the southern border.
The 817th Engineer Company is the third NDNG unit to deploy to the southern border in the last several years. Hovind previously met with NDNG members in El Paso, Texas, as well as Del Rio and Eagle Pass, Texas, to draw attention to the crisis at the southern border and highlight NDNG missions in support of CBP operations.
The Cass County Highway Department has announced that County Highway 17 between 52nd Avenue South and 64th Avenue South near Horace is scheduled to reopen on the afternoon of this Tuesday. The reopening occurs after 5 months of work on County Highway 17. Now, phase 1 of the project consisted of constructing a roundabout at the intersection of 64th Avenue South and County Highway 17. This was completed back in July. Now, phase 2 of the construction focused on replacing the bridge on County Highway 17 north of Riverdale Drive.
Hunters, get ready. Hunters can participate in an early antlerless only deer season from Thursday, October 19th through Sunday, October 22nd. The season increases opportunities for hunters in deer permit areas where deer populations are above population goals or where there is an increased risk of chronic wasting disease. Before participating, hunters should review the specific license and permit requirements available on page 88 of the Minnesota Hunting and Trapping Regulations.
And hey, check this out. Home State girls Tiger Lily Gold announced on Facebook today that they're in New York to play the Today Show tomorrow morning. Now, 10 years ago, they had their very own stint right here on KVLY in North Dakota Today. Check that out. So how about that? A really cool moment for those girls. A big congratulations. Again, you can catch them tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on the Today Show.
Also, speaking of big moments, the Upper Midwest Emmy Awards were held this weekend, and Valley News Live is thrilled to announce that we won 2 regional Emmys. Valley News Live won Best Evening Newscast as well as Best Magazine Program for Rides with Jay Thomas. The Valley Today was also nominated for Best Team Coverage in the daytime category. It's a team effort every single day, and the work that we do here at Valley News Live is for you, the viewers, to keep you informed, safe, and entertained. There's a big thanks to the entire team for their hard work, and to our viewers, again, you for watching each and every day.
And make sure to stay with us later on Valley News Live. The Swifties, they are out in full force for Taylor Swift's concert film this weekend. We'll have all those details after the break.
And we're still going to have some fall foliage arriving for areas in southern Minnesota. However, in the north, you're getting past your peak for those fall colors. But don't worry, we do have some fall conditions arriving later this weekend, even into next weekend. But don't go anywhere because we'll have that full forecast for you coming up next.
Monday on the Valley Today, we're heading into some more pleasant fall weather. We have the very latest on